Hey guys, Ralph here. Welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this wonderful Wednesday here in Connecticut. Hot as can be. Once again, we had ridiculous thunderstorms last night. Lost power for a little bit and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, here I am. And you saw the thumbnail. Old school range. You see what's going on this week. Tone, power, range, and endurance. I'm talking about the old guys. A little different. Actually, a lot different than it is today. But anyway, let's see what we got. And we'll talk about range, old school. Anyway, unlimited double C's and a little Arbin. Anyway, old school range. Now, back in the day, now I am talking from my perspective, back in my day, okay? That was late 60s, early 70s when I first moved to New York. Okay? And at that time, solid lead chops were G's, above high C. And A, you had a little bit in reserve. There weren't a lot of double C's around. There were not a lot of double C's around. Okay? Let me talk about that for a second. Okay? The king of the commercial guys, and when I was there, the commercial scene was killing. Just killing. The guys were making fortunes. Money over hand over fist. Actually, I'll tell you a story, and I think I told you about this. When I first walked into Manus, my first day at Manus, I went into the student lounge, okay? And on a coffee table in the middle was a copy of Forbes magazine. And geez, I looked at it, and geez, the cover guy looked familiar. Sure enough, it was Chuck Finley, the top guy out on LA at the time, okay? And the caption read, "How can this guy make $500,000 a year and not have a job?" Okay? We'll talk about Chuck Finley in a second. But guys, that was the money they were making. Just extraordinary money. Then it all went to heck. But anyway, I digress. But chops, G and an A, the top guy in New York was Bernie Glow at the time. Now, there was a new group coming in, Marvin Stamm, Lou Soloff, Alan Rubin, but the main guys were led by Bernie Glow. He was the guy. And I read an article about him once, and he said right there, my top note was an F sharp. My top note was an F sharp. If they needed a lot of G's, I told them to call Bob McCoy. That's how much work he had. I don't feel like doing a call. Most people, they got a G that kill themselves to play the G. Nah, he didn't have to. Anyway, once again, getting away from it. G's. Now, the top guys in New York, he was the king, but the rest of it were the trumpet section from the Tonight Show band that was left over when Doc moved to LA. Okay? John Frost, G's and A's. Dick Perry, G's and A's. Jimmy Maxwell, for sure, G's and A's. The guy that had the double C was Bob McCoy. Okay? Any double C that came up, he had it. Finley, out on the West Coast, G's and A's, could probably get himself up to a double C if he had to. Okay? Now, Chuck Finley was quite a bit younger than these guys. He was a little wonderkin out there. Conrad Gotzo was still there, the Condoli brothers and all this sort of stuff. And then when Doc moved out there, well, there's a double C guy. But anyway, it was a G and an A. Guys, now, we're talking about old school. I will say this. There's good news and bad news. Are there more double C's out there today? Absolutely. It seems like every high school kid and college kid can squeak out a double C. Is that the good news or the bad news? I'm not sure. The bad news are, man, who wants to listen to it? The tone and the power. That's the thing. Tone, power, range, and endurance. Guys, they are all intertwined. And that was Jerry's teaching. About 2 weeks ago, I told you, Jerry was not a high note teacher per se. He wasn't. It was all about tone and power. And then and only then did you extend the range up and down. Okay? Now, again, the double C's were not there. There are more of them today. There are absolutely 100% more of them. But guys, you go on the internet, and again, I don't know everybody. I don't listen to it. I blah, 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 blah. How many times do I get emails? Did you hear this? Blah. What do you think of this? And I don't know. And quite frankly, guys, I don't care to know. Trust me. But of the ones that I've seen, there's two guys, and I haven't seen them all. There's two guys that I will listen to if there's something new. I said this before, Lewis Dowdeswell and Lynn Nicholson. Everybody else, I don't want to hear it. Okay? Now, you get this double C guy on YouTube, and just ask yourself a question. If you put that person between Lynn Nicholson and Stan Mark, would you hear one note he played? No. No. You wouldn't hear one note they played. The tone is thin, scratchy, out of tune, and the power is nowhere. Now, so what good is the range if the first two are not there? Every single guy I mentioned, tone and power was great. Then and only then did you want to hear the range. And I still stick to that, guys. I still stick to that. Now, I went on a binge to get triple C's. Guys, I can play triple C's. They stink. It's like you would hear on YouTube. And I'm not going to put them on until they're filled out. But I play a lot of them. A lot of them. Not every day. I'm working on different things all the time for other things. But guys, I can play triple C's, but I refuse to put them on because it's just more noise that the airwaves do not need. So anyway, yeah, range. Old school range, G and an A, and every note in between. Solid. One of my first jobs, I played with John Frost. When the studio scene started to slow down for these guys, Dick Perry, Bob McCoy, a couple of them took Broadway shows. And Frost was assistant lead to Bob Milliken. There was another guy in New York, tremendous G's and A's. On chorus line, played second, and I played third trumpet one night next to him. I mean, his sound was just as big as a house. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, just big as a house. Once again, you take these imposters that you have today, the kids, even though they could probably play higher than John Frost, you wouldn't hear it. You wouldn't hear it. He would cover them. So the range that we're talking about, old school range, is directly combined with old school tone and power. And guys, that is what drives me. Tone, power, and range. We'll talk about endurance tomorrow. Tone, power, and range every day of my life. I'm obsessed with it. Well, one other thing before I go. Take a look at those pictures of Bernie Glow's chops. Are they beautiful? Are they beautiful? So the question is, Ralph, if the chops are so perfect, why couldn't he play double C's? You're going to love this one. He played a Bach 5C mouthpiece. In a nutshell. Anyway, that's it, guys. Eat and drink your fruits and vegetables and live your life with true power. Not the fake stuff, true power. Love you all.